know, we could spend a day fishing for nothing but permit. We can go out there and fish for nothing but barracudas or nothing but sharks, or you can have a day of just, you know, a lot of variety. I mean, there's no doubt that a kudo is just...
Oh, right there! Oh my gosh! Oh my God! That was incredible!
Oh, wow.
Got him?
I hit it as soon as it
hit the water.
As
Whoa!
soon as it hit the water, that's crazy.
Right in that white hole, huh?
I've never, I don't even know what this is, man. Yes! Look at that guy!
That is a shark.
That's the biggest fish I've ever caught.
I thought you said you
I got him, relax.
Oh my God!
Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, with Captain Tom Rowland and Captain Rich Tudor.
You're good.
Marquesas.
I like it when you say that.
Big kudas and permit. You know, we'll go down the flat, have a kuda rod ready, have a permit rod ready. Typical wintertime pattern. You know how I made a living for a long time.
I've never fished down here with you anytime this late in the year. I mean, we've always fished July through September, and this is, you know, what,
I like October.
middle October?
I like October the best. You know, you start getting that wintertime pattern of these northeastern winds like what we have right now, kind of northeast going to east, and I really like that for permit fishing, I really do. But I think that today's a great day to go over there. We got perfect sky, you know, there's not going to be any visibility issues. Worst case scenario, we get over there and have a great day with no boats around.
Man,
you know, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Man, I will check the best available, whatever the guide tells me. Whatever you want to do, man, I'm up for it. Love going down there with you. Every time we get down there, it's always a new adventure. I finally got to go down with you in the wintertime, and you know, totally different from any time we've ever done it in the summer, spring. You know, certainly not the best conditions, a little windy, you know, but you were confident as long as we had that sunshine, you knew we'd find some fish, and a little bouncy to get over there, but man, it was really worth it. I don't get to catch the big kudas up here. You know, we've gone down there and I love catching the permit with you, but you know, we pulled up in that channel and you were like, you know, yeah, let's try little kudas here. You know, I know we were just setting up, and you know, I brought those new swim baits, and I bought one of those new swim baits, and you seemed to confiscate that very quickly to put it on your bait casting rod.
The good thing about these, as soon as the cold fronts start coming in like that, kudas will come up on the flat, and they're right in exactly the same place as the permit. I mean, you don't have to change your tactics or anything, so we're just going to basically go permit fishing. If we see kudas, we're going to throw at them.
And you know, I didn't even think we were fishing yet. I thought we were just, you know, basically making a warm-up cast or whatever we were doing.
It just looks so good in the water. I got this quantum reel, this burner. I mean, there's no doubt that a kudo is just...
Oh, right there! Oh my gosh! Oh my God! That was incredible! Oh my gosh, you were kidding. Man, that's awesome.
Sure you don't want to borrow this bait?
Yes, I want. How many did I bring? One?
I think you only brought one, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Did that scare you?
It did. It scared the living daylights out of me. I mean, that was awesome.
I couldn't tell. I mean, I didn't even know if it... I was thinking, gosh, man, what am I going to have to do to entertain Rich today? Now, they can be really exciting like that, and you know, I was telling you, I get tons of strikes exactly like what you saw, right there like that at the boat.
That's a nice kuda,
anybody
man.
that would like to fish for a muskie needs to try their hand at one of these.
That is a nice...
Because they say fish of 1,000 casts.
That was one.
Well, I've had 2 casts and 1 fish.
That's a big kuda too, man, a big one. When that fish came up there, I've never muskie fished, but I've talked to guys and seen it on TV, and that would have made a muskie fisherman proud. I mean, that was a big kuda by my standards. That was a very large kuda, and just the ferocity. I mean, when he came up there, it was so fast, so violent, and just right there. I mean, that was pretty awesome. That is a big kuda.
Nothing outstanding about that fish right there.
Well, that is, for where I fish, that's
very common.
outstanding.
You want to help me out with him? Or
Yeah, let him keep a little calmer.
Oh, you can just grab him by the tail and just cradle him. There you go. Now take your other hand and put it right underneath like a bonefish. There you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Cool.
Wow.
Oh, look, fell right out. Oh, and he chopped my tail off.
Dude, that was
Is it in there?
no.
Take a little super glue to that, and I could probably do it again.
That was absolutely
That's
impressive.
awesome, isn't it? That's just awesome, man.
I gotta say, that was pretty impressive,
Big
Tom.
teeth.
That was pretty impressive.
Big old teeth. Let's see if I can do it again. What do you think the chances of catching
run
two?
20 miles across the bay.
First cast?
Pull up in a spot.
What do you think the chance of catching two?
That was nice.
I think losing the tail really hurt me there. Doesn't have the same action.
Very cool. Wow, that was impressive. You had a 1 in a billion chance of doing what you did. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you by Hawks Cay Resort Marina and Villas. It's all about the water. By Yellowfin, only in a Yellowfin. By Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. By Motor Guide, never stop. By Mercury, #1 on the water. And by Under Armour, Navionics, Loadmaster, and Toyota.
It was solid that day. I mean, we had, you know, after you caught that big one to start off, I mean, we went out on the outside flats and looking for permit and barracudas. It was pretty wild. And we had, you know, had one rod set up for the cudas with the lures and one rod set up with the crab for the permit. And it was just, you know, every 10 seconds we were back to one. You know, it was like, permit, oh, grab the crab. And then it was be barracuda, oh, look at him jumping, nice fish. Dude, you're right, all your cudas are big, man. I just had one miss it, and then this guy just came out and pounded it, and yeah.
Well, I'd like to catch
There he cut me off. Man.
Cut you off?
Yeah. That big swim bait there, you hook another cuda on that, and then I hooked a couple, you know, nice cudas. I mean, it was, you know, good cuda fish. And then we started seeing, we saw one permit, and got excited about that. Didn't catch him, and then next thing I know, you're casting that big swim bait out there, you know, ready to catch another cuda. And I saw you cast, and the next thing I know, you were like hooked up, and I'm like, what's going on? I figured you were snagged, and you're like, got him.
Oh, wow.
Got him.
I hit it as soon as it
hit the water.
As soon as it hit the water. That's crazy.
Right in that white hole, huh?
I've never. I don't even know what this is, man.
Here, let's power pull down. It's got to be a cuda, right?
Get to it. Dude, I think I snagged this fish because, I mean, that happened as soon as it hit the water, and he is fighting so hard. I think I snagged him. Look at this. Wow. What in the world could this be?
You need to chase him or what?
Yeah, we're gonna have to chase him, man. I really don't even think it hit the water, honestly, because, I mean, I threw out there, and I see the lure taking off, and I made a nice long cast, you know, and the lure came down, and it just hit the water and took off like this. I mean, just I don't know. I mean,
well, that was crazy because, I mean, I was assuming it was a barracuda. I mean, that's what we were fishing for with those big lures. We had caught a couple. I figured you had a cuda on, but then it started peeling off outline. It was, you know, wasn't jumping. It was, you know, fighting like, you know, something really big and heavy.
It was fighting harder than a barracuda.
Exactly, and we had to chase him. Remember, we had to chase him down with the trolling motor. I love it. A good mystery. Are you gaining?
Yeah, I'm gaining. You almost took everything I had.
I mean, could it be a shark?
Could be a shark, or, I mean, Rich, I don't know if you saw that or not, but the second that lure hit the water,
I saw you cast, and when I turned around, you were hooked up.
Now, sometimes they'll see the lure in the air, and they'll run after it and eat it right when it hits the water, but usually you see something. I mean, this thing...
I see something flopping there. We determined it wasn't a cuda, and it was like that mystery. I always like a good mystery like that. But when you're up in 1.5 foot of water, there's not a lot of mystery.
Oh, it's a permit!
Oh my God, you did catch a permit!
I caught a permit! I caught a permit!
Dude, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
You know what? He was floating in that hole, is what he was doing. He was sitting there floating in that hole, and I cast out there.
You are officially
Mr. Permit.
I mean, you had a 1 in a billion chance of doing what you did. You threw out there and you snagged a permit, and you threw it as far as you could, not seeing anything, blind casting, for barracudas and snag a permit. I've been fishing in the Marquesas. I've fished all over. I mean, trying my darndest to catch a permit, you know, for days, weeks at a time, and have trouble doing it. You go out there, blind casting for barracudas, and snag one. I mean, that is truthfully,
yeah, it's
the greatest fish story I've ever seen.
Now I see what was going on. He was, you know, I was telling you that you don't have to do anything different for the permit. You know, they like the same thing. The permit will float in these white holes. So I threw right over the top of that white hole, and that fish probably saw it coming in the air and started taking off as soon as it, you know, it scared him right into the hook.
Unbelievable.
Treble hook is barely in there.
It's like you have him on as a big kite
Now, what
bait
if you
there.
saw that, if he broke off right now, and you saw that fish coming down the flat? Get him, get him, get him, get him. Nice job. Now, there's a guy that knows how to net a fish. Head first. You gotta like that.
That is unbelievable.
Okay, now, you say I'm officially Mr. Permit now?
You are officially Mr. Permit. There's no denying it.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it?
Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. I guess, I mean, do you think he actually went after it, or do you think it just landed on his back and
he
he
didn't
hooked
go
him?
after it.
So you literally just landed on his back with a cast.
They will eat something like that.
All right. You know what? I will officially pay you $1,000 if you can do that again today.
Okay, well.
You got that?
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
My first dorsal snag jack. Yes! What a beautiful day, huh?
Man, that is crazy.
Yeah, some days, you know, things just happen like that.
That is crazy. And I
For
might have...
me, it's on a day like today. For you, it's a fishing tournament. You come back in and you're like, yeah, well, I caught 47 tarpon during the tournament.
That's unbelievable. He's in good shape, though.
All right, he's out of here. Wow, he went
He's in
back.
good shape.
Look at that.
Gosh.
He said, what the heck?
That is it. You are officially Mr. Permit.
Using a trolling motor in shallow water, there are 3 ways to adjust it to get the maximum performance out of your motor. First, you want to keep your gate screw lubricated and wash it off frequently if you're exposing it to salt water. This is going to be a very convenient feature. If anything ever were to happen to your trolling motor, you can simply open the gate and replace it with another motor, or take it to the service center without having to take the whole assembly off of your boat. Second is this adjustment here. Now, if I keep this loose here, if I were to actually hit something accidentally, the motor's going to flex forward, keeping the shaft from bending and causing all kinds of trouble that's going to keep me from fishing all day long. Now, the third and most important adjustment for flats fishermen is going to enable the motor to go up and down here. And the way that I do that is I keep this collar very, very loose. I'm going to be adjusting this motor all day long as I go into shallower or deeper water to get the best performance. So I want to keep my collar absolutely as loose as possible, and then I want to keep the motor in the right depth by using this collar here. What I'm going to do is simply under tension, I'll let the motor go under tension just like this, and I can adjust the collar where I want it. And then as I take the motor off, it'll simply fall right into place. Now, as I go into shallower and shallower water, the most important thing is to make sure that your blade is fully submerged. If your blade is fully submerged, you can fish in water 12 inches deep. Now, the most important thing there is to also watch your speed. As you go with a fully submerged propeller, if you are to go with too much speed, you're going to cavitate and blow out a lot of mud and definitely spook the fish. So keep it on a very low speed, don't hit the grass below, and you're going to be able to navigate in the shallowest water with ease and comfort.
Just an unbelievably beautiful spot, though. I mean, that white sand beach, that water was just so beautiful. I mean, really. I mean, we get a lot of beautiful spots in the Keys and in Cape Sable and everywhere. But I mean, that is a special spot to have that clear water, all these different kinds of fish. I mean, we're seeing tons of hawks that day. Just a really awesome spot to be.
Yep. Plus, it's without question, it is the best permit fishing in the entire world. I've never seen a place.
Well,
that
every
even
time
comes
you've taken me
close.
out there, I've caught a permit. I caught one that trip. I didn't snag them on the back like you did. I actually had to catch them the easy way.
Anybody can catch them in the mouth, man.
I had to actually throw him a crab and catch him in the mouth.
Let him find it. There, he found it.
Yeah.
Did he get it? Yes.
Yeah.
Good job,
That was
man.
awesome, man.
Good job. That was a permit in very, very shallow water.
He was.
He was very shallow.
And it was really neat to be able to actually see that fish. I remember that permit was just kind of cruising real slow, threw out past him, you know, came in, and he didn't see it that time here. He kind of spun around but didn't eat it. And then I threw back out there and really just watch him just come right over and just eat it right there. It's so exciting.
Right. Some days it just feels right. You know, you just get out here and you got great visibility. The fish are, you know, you think, you may say it to yourself before you vocalize it to your clients that there should be a fish in that hole. You go up there, fish in that hole. And that happens 3 or 4 times, and then you can start calling, you know? They think you're, you know, incredible.
Well, what I think that after you cast into blind cast in a hole for a cuda and snag a permit on the back, that you know, everything else is downhill. That's what I think. But that was fun. That was a cool fish. I remember you know, seeing that fish before you did, which is a rarity when it comes to permit. You seem to have radar for permit, but somehow I actually saw that fish before you and didn't bother telling you where it was and got the first cast. God. I didn't think he was that big, but he's certainly fighting big.
Some of them are just mean. Some of them aren't even that big, they're just mean.
What a fight. I mean, that was a great fish. Not the biggest permit, but man, he was strong. I mean, it always amazes me how strong those fish are with that forked tail and, you know, flat body. They get that speed, you know, of a bonefish, but then they can sit out there and rest with that flat body. And here you are with that 10-pound line, you know, not being able to horse them. It's amazing what a powerful fish they are. What a beautiful spot, man. I think this is where the first time I ever got to go fishing with you out here. I think we caught one right here.
Probably. This is definitely one of my favorite haunts.
You ready for him?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I like to get him going one way and then snatch him in the other. So I'll gently take him that way, turn him around, and snatch that tail out of the water.
That's what I'm talking about. That was cool.
You know, we could spend a day doing, you know, fishing for nothing but permit. We can go out there and fish for nothing but barracudas or nothing but sharks, or you can have a day of just, you know, a lot of variety. And, you know, the place just has a lot to offer, and it's one of my favorite places in the world.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you by Yellowfin, only in a Yellowfin. By Quantum, fishing at a quantum level. By Lowrance, we lead, we find, you win. By Guideline Sunglasses, optimum performance on and off the water. By the Florida Keys and Key West, come as you are. And by Under Armour, Navionics, Loadmaster, and Scott Fly Rods.
What you'll remember from that day, when you look back on that day, you know, 5 years from now, that's probably.
I will. I'll say Tom Rowland snagged the
But you know what?
permit
That's not
with
what
one
I'm gonna-
cast.
That's not what I'm going to remember. What I'm going to remember is seeing a bonefish, and then you showing me how to catch, you know, several bonefish like that. When I would have just, I would never have spent that kind of time doing what we did. And
But what
you
I
can just
what I
spend a little time
what I
there.
saw there was, you know, it was a perfect opportunity. You know, right there where it was real shallow. Yes, that's where we saw him on that shallow bar. But I saw that other little white hole that was a little bit deeper, and that's the kind of spots where I've seen, you know, when you see a bonefish there and they leave, that they might come right down in that same path or come right back there, especially if it's an area where there's no pressure. And I figured those fish, you know, might come back, and that's what we did, is, you know, just threw out a couple shrimp there in that little hole while we were, you know, rigging up.
Uh-oh, you're on. You're on. You're on. You're on.
Already?
Yep.
No way.
You're on.
That fast?
Still on there?
Still on there. I think it's a bone.
That's awesome, man. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, when I hear about these guys soaking baits or chumming, I think of, you know, chopping up 50 dozen shrimp and, you know, waiting for 3 hours, but apparently that's not it at all. That a bonefish has such an incredible sense of smell that, you know, they come right in. Look at that, man.
Awesome, man. How about that, huh?
Learn something every day, man. Learn something new every day.
That is incredible, man. Permit right here, bonefish, barracudas, all in the same water. That is
When
really
it's
cool.
happening, it's happening.
That is
See
nice.
you later, buddy. Wow.
How about that?
That's so cool, man.
Accommodations provided by Hawks Cay Resort Marina and Villas. It's all about the water.
All we had to do is soak a bait. Huh.
That's cool.
That's great. I just need to have more patience, you know, for the bonefish. I got plenty of patience for the permit and other things, but
No, that's the key, man. It's just learning from each other. We always find something different. This is an awesome spot, man.
it is. It's outstanding.